What happened to all of the Jalen Hurts fearmongers, all the people who tried to sound the alarms, raise the flags, put the flags at half-mast? They were all worried about, oh, Jalen's not practicing. I guess it means we're screwed. We have no chance. We're all going to die. And, your friendly local neighborhood Russ Joy said what to you the other day? Said, hey, he can't clear concussion protocol until he practices on Wednesday. And I'm gonna throw this out here real quick because you've probably seen this by now, but just in case you haven't, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but the young man has been out on the field the last few days practicing. Here's a not even a Zapruder film. This is from Dave Zangaro. Here's Jalen Hurts out there on the field, Lincoln Financial Field. He's been participating in practices. I know a lot of people were worried, and I get it. And I know that a lot of what happens in this game could, in fact, hinge on whether or not Jalen Hurts plays. And if Jalen Hurts is able to be at 100% and yada, yada, yada. Guys, he's going to play. It's going to happen. And we can all take a deep freaking breath and move on with our day. I can't believe the amount of nonsense that we've had to endure this week around whether or not he was going to play and what it was going to mean. Now, I could take you back to a day ago, almost 24 hours ago, where Adam Schefter reported over on Get Up that Jalen Hurts is still technically in concussion protocol, but it would appear as though we're getting closer and closer. Now, if something were to change between now and Sunday, all right. But as of right now, no. The man is going to play. And the man is probably going to show out. And by the time we reconvene on Monday morning at 8:30 a.m. live on YouTube, X, and Facebook, we will likely be talking about a big win. A big win by the Birds. The Birds getting a big win out there. Now, I want to go over to what some of the national media had to say about Jalen Hurts and about the Eagles, okay? Because the Eagles have been hovering around a 4.5-point favorite on Sunday. They put together an incredible winning streak. They beat Green Bay in the Brazil game. Green Bay is kind of beaten up, especially at wideout. One would think that with home field advantage and a strong Eagles team that has been one of, if not the best team in the NFC all year, it stands to reason that the Eagles should be a 4.5-point favorite. But, well, I'll tell you what. There's one person at FS1 who does not believe that the Eagles are going to win this game. It's not Emmanuel Acho and it's not Joy Taylor, but it is somebody else who works at that station. And we're going to bring him up. I want you to see if you can identify him by his voice. Remember, this was a guy who once was on ESPN, and I forget what happened there, but he ended up off, and now he's kind of on the land of misfit toys at FS1. Here's this guy.
Do you think Philly deserves to be almost 5-point favorites?
No. They should be 3-point favorites.
Wow. That's a bold take by Chris Broussard. They should be 3-point favorites. Whew.
I think Green Bay is going to win this game. But Philly, look, regardless of what the reports were about yesterday, Jalen Hurts hasn't played in a month. And I would think he's not a great passer when he's in rhythm.
Wow.
And so, as far as, over the course of a season. So I think
bold.
He's going to be rusty.
So, okay, hold on a second. So he says the Eagles should only be a 3-point favorite, but then also says the Eagles are going to lose this game and that Jalen Hurts isn't a good passer even when he's in rhythm. Wow, okay. Very interesting. All right, let's keep going.
And Green Bay's playing with house money. Nobody expects them to win. They're still the
Well, one person expects him to win, and his name is Chris Broussard. Buddy, you just said that you think that the Packers are going to win the game. So what does that mean? Nobody. Don't speak in absolutes. You can't do that. You just contradicted yourself, Chris. What are you doing? What are you doing? All right, let's go.
Youngest team in the playoffs, youngest team in the league. So they're coming out there free. And A.J. Brown, is he going to be chirping? We talked about this yesterday. Is he going to be chirping to Jalen to get him the ball?
All right, tired narrative. I thought we have already gotten past that, but okay. Chris Broussard is now playing the greatest hits of things that have given Eagles fans heartburn this year. All right. Are we going to have that the Eagles tempted the gods of football by not playing Saquon Barkley? Are we going to talk about Saquon Barkley's hamstring or something? Well, let's see. I honestly haven't watched this the whole way through, so Your guess is as good as mine.
So I just think that Green Bay, I feel good about their chances of winning this. And I feel like all the pressure is on Philadelphia because they are S-Bob, and they better win this game or they could have a new coach.
Yeah.
Whoa! Now we got the coach. Wow! Listen, I said we're playing a bunch of the greatest hits. He kind of went in reverse order there a little bit. Oh, Jalen Hurts isn't a very good passer, even when he's in rhythm. That was one of the later season critiques. And then if we go back chronologically, there was the A.J. Brown chirping, the passing comment post-game. That was a few weeks prior, okay? And then he wraps it up with a bow by saying, might have a new coach. So I guess we've gone now back to the bye week. Listen, Chase B's right. He hit them all. I don't know if he missed any narratives from this season, except for maybe Saquon. He could have said, I don't know. The Eagles' demeanor, their overall morale might be hurt because they didn't go after the rushing record. All right, well, Chris Broussard misses out on that one. All right. Hey, good on you, fella. You had a nice little run there. Let's keep going.
I disagree that they're playing with house money now. As soon as you pay your quarterback what you paid your quarterback, it stops being house money. That comes with expectations, and you better perform. I'm fine with the line where it is. Philly was 8-1 at home. When you look at it, Nick Sirianni's undefeated after a bye, and really last week was a bye. So
look at Mangini coming up with some actual stats. Sitting back, hanging out, remembering his not-so-successful Jets tenure, but he's got some facts. He's brought some actual facts to a discussion on FS1. This is new. Now, you can actually see Chris Broussard having a meltdown. His brain is actually frying in the moment. Oh, I didn't know we were bringing numbers today. I didn't know we were bringing actual historical trends and not just anecdotal, personal narrative bullshit. Okay. Keep going, fella. Plus, I like the purple tie. It's a little bit bent there, but we'll rock with it.
they have that benefit as well. And then going into this, Philly's won 3 in a row, and then Green Bay's lost. They don't have the momentum. Green Bay doesn't have the momentum like they had last year. And I think collectively, Philly is a much, not a much sounder team, but a sound enough team comparatively to merit the extra point that you normally get for a home playoff.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what exactly he's talking about at the end. This kind of felt like, you know how when you have to do a report in school, you have a project to do, and like your teacher says you have to start this in class, and they are hawkish over you. So you actually do get a strong start. And you get like the first quarter of the project done in class. And then the teacher eventually says, all right, you're going to like go finish the rest of this at home, bring it back in a week or whatever. And when you show back up, it's like that meme of like the beautifully drawn horse, right? And it's like in 3 or 4 parts, and it gets progressively worse over each piece. And by the end, it's just a stick figure horse going like that's what just happened there. That's what just happened with his argument. It started very strong. It was a well-shaded 3D interpretation of a horse's ass, and then it got a little bit worse. And by the end, what exactly does that mean? The Eagles aren't really that much of a more sound team than the Packers. What does that mean? This is a team that 2 years ago made a Super Bowl. It is a team that last year collapsed down the stretch. It is a team that had significant questions in week 5 in the bye week that had people like me saying, is this coach really the answer? And I said at the time, if they continue to go with Sirianni, the belief that I had at the time was that the talent is still going to be able to win out. The talent is still going to be able to win in spite of the head coach. I do think Sirianni has earned some respect back, and I do think that Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio over the course of the season got to learn their personnel better and have done a masterful job of taking this team to the kind of success that it had, especially on a long win streak, and then bouncing back and ending the season strong. So, okay. Interesting. Chris Broussard, though, that was horrific. Okay. I'm going to go over here to the comments really quick. And Ford is right. Ford is right to call this out. He said, to be fair, you went on a rant about Sirianni early in the season. I did. Now, I do still have the question, like, what is it exactly that Nick Sirianni does? Because he he apparently doesn't touch special teams, defense, and then offense, it seemed like he had been meddling. Kellen Moore, like, here's what we're going to learn. And this is the problem, okay? Kellen Moore is going to be a highly sought-after name in the head coaching market. Don't be surprised if he has even more interviews between now and whenever the Eagles' playoff run ends, hopefully with a parade down Broad Street. But Kellen Moore will be a wanted name among a ton of teams that need a head coach. And if I'm the Eagles, I'm probably going to try to do whatever it takes to keep him here. Shy of like naming him associate head coach, this team needs consistency at an offensive coordinator. That to me is like the biggest concern. If you remember, post Foles, right? Offensive coordinator position went up and down. Even with this team, they lost Shane Steichen. They put, what the hell was his name? I've now lost the guy's name. Brian Mitchell. They had him in place. That didn't work. He gets jettisoned. They bring in Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore is supposed to be this great offensive mind. There have been some hit and miss moments, but overall, it seems like the in-game adjustments that the Eagles offense makes work. I think it's important, at least with Jalen Hurts and with this offense, like, no matter what you think about the passing game, no matter whether or not you agree that Jalen Hurts is a great passing quarterback, a mediocre passing quarterback, a perfectly acceptable one, a less than average one, this team still put together an offense that had the leading rusher and a guy who, like, had it not been for the fact that the final game of the season was meaningless, good chance would have broken the single season rushing record. That is one hell of an offense. I don't care what you think about the status of the passing game, okay? It's undeniable that Kellen Moore had a significant impact on this offense. Obviously, Saquon Barkley on the field had a massive influence on it as well. But this offense looked really good for the majority of the season. Did they have their ups and downs? They did. Was there some potential strife internally about getting A.J. Brown and or Devontae Smith involved in games? Yes. Do I think that they're going to have some rust this weekend? I do think that there is a possibility that there will be rust. I do. Jalen Hurts, to the point of the panel, yes, he hasn't played in a month. No, that's not ideal. You have home field advantage. You have the best running back in football. You have probably the best offensive line in football. You have a defense that has now not only been a shutdown defensive unit for almost all of the regular season, but has now also figured out how to force turnovers. I like the Eagles in this game significantly. I think I said on Wednesday I wouldn't be surprised if this is a double-digit win for the Eagles. If something were to change, if Hurts somehow doesn't suit up for this game, then I think it's a lot closer. Could be like a 3-point game, could be a 4-point game. But overall, like, I still think the Eagles, no matter what, are able to walk away with a win. And then you start getting into those scenarios of, all right, what does the rest of the playoffs look like? Was it a bigger problem than expected that the Eagles didn't get the number 1 seed? Will home field advantage come into play? We can get there when we get there. But for now, I think the Eagles are in a good shape. I really do.